with New York City's new mayor tomorrow to discuss the wave of gun violence plaguing America's cities. Illegal guns are a big part of the problem, especially ghost guns that can be easily purchased with no background checks. CBS's Jeff Begays has an exclusive interview with the top federal official in charge of getting those guns off our streets.
Dion, it's Houston Police. Let's do this thing. Oh, God.
If you're looking for a reason why crime is spiking,
you ready to take a seat?
The ATF says unregistered and untraceable homemade weapons are key. So-called ghost guns can be made on a 3D printer. This is a ghost gun. We're going to try it out. It's something that you can produce on a printer that costs less than $200. Earl Griffith, an ATF firearms officer, says a small conversion device like this one can turn a legal semi-automatic handgun into an illegal machine gun. How many rounds a minute was that?
So that was about 30 rounds.
30 rounds.
Yes.
So you essentially emptied the clip.
Emptied the magazine of 33 rounds. Yep.
Conversion parts are so easy to make that we watched as this 3D printer assembled one in about 45 minutes. Marvin Richardson is the acting director of the ATF. How have ghost guns complicated the job of ATF agents?
You can buy a box of firearms parts and you can assemble those firearms together. And I've seen videos on YouTube where you can see people doing it in record time, 20, 23 minutes.
Last year, police in Chicago seized over 400 ghost guns, New York over 200. Richardson says so-called trigger pullers, criminals, and gang members using guns are well known to law enforcement.
So what we've learned is that those people that we go after have an average of 8 arrests prior to us having that contact with them.
8 arrests.
And in many instances, 8 violent criminal arrests.
And Jeff Begays joins us now with more of his excellent reporting. So, Jeff, these ghost guns, obviously a big problem, but they're not the only reason for the spike in crime, right?
Well, that's right. If you talk to law enforcement, they'll tell you it's the court system at times shutting down because of the pandemic. In some cases, it's a revolving door. They arrest the suspects.
How y'all doing, everybody? Welcome to another episode of J Synergy Talks. I'm Mr. J Synergy, coming to you live and direct to drop some more content from the content creator's mind. Today's story is going to be about Joe Biden's promise to Americans, and specifically New York City, to get rid of some of these ghost guns and fight down on some of this violence that we got going on in these cities. Now, I do feel like everybody do got a right to bear arms because of the Second Amendment right of the Constitution, which we know has been changed depending on if you got felonies. There's a catch-22. It's like potato, potato, tomato, tomato. I mean, some places you can carry. Some places they got stand your ground. But if you go right across line, then you can't carry, so you might die. I mean, it's kind of crazy. So what he doing is trying to come down and federally regulate because we got so much crime going on. And the main thing is just a lot of guns getting into the hands of people, not only criminals, but people of all ages. I mean, and then they show you how to put it together on Facebook. Not Facebook, YouTube. So, I mean, give it up to YouTube for that insightful information. Showing kids and everybody how to just meticulously in 20 minutes make a fully automatic assault rifle or pistol with a switch. So what I got is content on all of the ghost guns. I got an ATF expert coming through showing the capability of these guns. And also don't forget the main part of this, because I do everything with a twist. Once again, y'all come in here because this is Mr. J Synergy. I make everything fun and light, and we already go through enough depression. I'm not trying to sound like everybody else, and I'm not going to give the same perspective because, like they say, this is supposed to be a free country with uncensored words. And like I'm going to keep reminding y'all, just ask Kyrie and Kanye West. So with that being said, this is Mr. J Synergy. Just make sure that y'all continue to support, like, share, subscribe, upload the content, reload the content, enjoy the content. But like I said, stay tuned to the end. I have footage on ghost guns, a couple killings and shootings going on, and a couple dumbass criminals. So this Mr. J Synergy, like I always say, the fall is going to be harder than the come up. Don't live in the matrix. And hey, stay awoke, people, in these last days. Much love to y'all. Check out the rest of this footage that I have about Joe Biden passing these laws and the crime that's taking place in these city streets. Much love to y'all. This is Mr. Jason Energy signing off. I'm out.
Violence is on the
Peace.
rise in almost every major city in the country. Today, President Biden paid a visit to the nation's largest city, New York, which is going through a crime wave of its own. CBS's Jeff Pegues reports.
Personal privilege.
Today, President Biden promised police officers on the front lines of the violence that they would get help.
The answer is not to defund the police. It's to give you the tools, the training, the funding, to be partners, to be protectors.
Mr. Biden visited the city within days of 2 funerals for NYPD officers who were shot and killed by a man armed with a gun equipped with a high-capacity magazine capable of holding 40 rounds. Just a month into the new year, 6 NYPD officers have been shot. New York's mayor, who sat next to the president, called for action to stop the violence.
We're here in solidarity to deal with the issue of violence that has become pervasive in not only New York City, but in the cities across America.
Cities are struggling to get a handle on crime. In 2021, there was a nearly 12% increase in gun violence murders compared to the year before. Law enforcement officials acknowledge that in some cases they are outgunned by suspects armed with manufactured weapons or so-called ghost guns converted into illegal machine guns.
We haven't seen so many machine guns used in crimes since Prohibition.
Is that right?
That is right. Your average law enforcement officer is not armed with a machine gun. Increasingly, criminals are.
And Jeff Pegues joins us now from New York. So, Jeff, what is the administration proposing to do to get these ghost guns off the streets?
Nora, today the Justice Department announced a new initiative that would toughen penalties for suspects caught committing crimes with ghost guns. City residents here in New York just hoping for some sort of relief. Shootings are up in the city more than 32% so far this year. Nora.
Jeff.
A robbery attempt is nipped in the bud when an armed man finds himself up against a convenience store worker with his own weapon. It happened on September 9th in Pensacola, Florida. The Escambia County Sheriff's Office released this security video saying the suspect, 32-year-old Rakeem Stephen Tate, turned a bad decision into a worse decision when he entered the store armed. Security footage shows Tate walking inside carrying a gun under his right arm. He walks around the store before speaking with someone who is off camera.
I don't mean no harm. I'm just not from around here. What you got in your hand? I got a big gun, but I'm not from around here is what I'm saying. I'm from Chicago, bro.
Escambia County officials say the clerk noticed Tate was armed before he entered the store and ran to the back room to arm himself with his personal weapon.
What the?
After leaving the store, Tate was charged with openly carrying a prohibited weapon and attempted robbery with a firearm. Officials with the Escambia County Sheriff's Office posted the security footage on Facebook, saying it was, quote, not a good time for a robbery. And while Tate may be from Chicago,
but I'm not from around here is what I'm saying. I'm from Chicago, bro.
Officials went on to write, quote, "You're not in Chicago anymore. You're under arrest." For the latest developments in this story and all
A robbery suspect shot and wounded when an employee at a Norco market didn't hesitate to protect his business from a would-be crook.
That robbery now under investigation.
Let's go live to Gina Silva in Norco with the latest, and the age here is interesting as well. Gina.
That's right, Alex Christine. I can tell you that almost everyone in this town is very proud of the way this business owner handled himself. There were 4 armed robbers, and they were parked right here. By the time they went inside, they got the surprise of their lives.
It's a shooting the bad guys never saw coming. An 80-year-old man defends his business after armed robbers storm into Norco Market and Liquor.
I guess he gets what he deserves, so piece is done.
I've seen him a couple of times while I've been here, and honestly, I can kind of expect that from him. He seems like a pretty bad old man.
I can tell you there were a lot of people coming in just to support the business and say they're very proud of the way he acted. But of course, a shooting, of this caliber is very stressful, traumatic. The business owner, who is 80 years old, did have a heart attack right after the shooting. But the good news is that I spoke with him this afternoon. He's doing better, and he will be out of the hospital tonight. And Alex Christine, he is promising to do an interview with us once he settles in, and perhaps on Wednesday he'll talk to us about this traumatic experience and why he did what he did.
All new at 11, new information about a young father fighting against violent crime in his community as he falls victim to a violent crime himself. Tonight, family and friends of Terrence Favors Denson tell John Sheeran they're following his example in fighting back his way.
He had known tragedy, held it in his arms, staggering from personal tragedy that shattered his heart.
I saw hurt.
Close family and friends of 32-year-old Terrence Favors Denson, hurting now too. 1 week after he was shot to death outside a neighborhood bar in Mechanicsville, just south of downtown Atlanta. The neighborhood where he was working to reduce violent crime and guide young people away from guns and gangs, especially after what happened this past June to his own son. His 15-year-old son, Terrence, was shot to death, family friend Takesia Shields.
Instead of going back and saying that I'm going to hurt somebody, he was going to the community saying, I want to save someone, and I'm going to save them in what way I can.
Terrence Favors Denson started an organization to try to save young people from violence, from the life of crime he led when he was young. Irisha Ridley, his cousin, says his mission consumed him.
He didn't want to repeat the cycle. He wanted to break the cycle. He wanted to build the community up. He didn't want them to experience the things that he experienced.
Last month, when someone opened fire at a softball game in Mechanicsville, killing 1 person and wounding 5 more, it was Terrence who ran in and helped save the life of one of the wounded, a 6-year-old girl. We were there a few days later when community leaders gathered nearby, Terrence among them, which is why they are determined to pick up Terrence's mission and make it their own. Pastor Radonis Bryant.
That's what he was doing with book bag giveaways, giving away food. As I said, he was just trying to help the community.
Fearlessly. In Mechanicsville in southwest Atlanta, John Sheeran, 11 Alive News.
of us.
Dude, stop! Get your hands up! Come on!